For centuries, no one wanted to say his name. Today, every month, in a single city, thousands of people walk for hours to reach him. They bring him flowers. They light candles for him. They speak to him the way you speak to someone who is genuinely listening. And almost none of those people could tell you who he actually was. We know what we ask him for. We do not know who he was. He shared a table with Jesus. He belonged to his own family. He wrote one single letter, very short, that is still read today. This is his story. He was one of the 12, but even inside that small group, he is one of the ones who left almost no trace at all. The Gospels do not even call him the same thing twice. In some lists he appears as Thaddeus, in others as Jude, the son of James. And when they need to be clear, they make it clear in the saddest way possible. Jude, the one who is not Iscariot. There is one detail that changes how we see him. In one of the Gospels, where the close relatives of Jesus are named, a Jude appears among them. Tradition recognizes him as this same man, not a stranger who joined at the end, but someone who had known Jesus from before the miracles, before the crowds, when he was still, simply, the man from the house next door. Picture that for a moment, growing up near someone, watching him work the wood, watching him eat, watching him on ordinary days, and one day understanding that this man was far more than anyone had imagined. Of everything he lived through at his side, Scripture keeps only one sentence of his. 1. It was the last night, during supper. Jesus was speaking about leaving, about showing himself to his own in a new way, and this man interrupted him with a very simple question, almost a naive one. Lord, why are you going to show yourself to us and not to the whole world? It is the only thing the Bible ever puts in his mouth, an honest question, the question of someone who wanted to understand. And here begins what happened to him after his death, which is almost stranger than his life, because there was another one, another of the 12 who was also called Judas, and that other Judas handed Jesus over for money on the darkest night of them all. 2 men, the same name, one betrayed, the other stayed until the end, but the name, that name, was marked forever by the one who left. Over the centuries, something very human happened. When people prayed, they avoided saying Jude. It weighed on them. They were afraid of confusing the two, afraid of calling, without meaning to, on the one who had betrayed. And so, without ever quite deciding it, they set him aside. While other apostles had churches raised in their name and hymns sung to them, he was surrounded by silence. He became the forgotten apostle, the one who stayed until the end, and whom almost no one ever named again. Think about that. He was at the Last Supper. He received the same charge as the others. He traveled far carrying what he had learned, and according to tradition, he died for it, far from home, alongside another of the 12. And his reward, for generations, was that his own name made the very people who should have remembered him uncomfortable. Of everything he could have left behind, one single letter of his reached us. 25 verses. You can read the whole thing in 5 minutes. He did not write it to impress anyone. He wrote it for people who were in danger, small communities that were beginning to lose their way, to let go of what had been holding them up. And notice what he did not do. He did not promise them that everything would be easy. He did not assure them the problem would be over soon. He asked them for something harder and more honest, that they hold on, that they stay standing precisely when everything around them was coming loose, that they take care of one another while they waited. It is the letter of someone who knew what it was to endure in the shadows. And it ends with one of the most luminous lines in the entire New Testament, a blessing addressed to the one who is able to keep a person from falling and to hold them upright to the very end. The man no one would name wrote, with the only words of his we still have, about not letting anyone fall. And then came the strangest turn in this whole story, almost a beautiful one. Precisely because for centuries no one called on him, he became, in time, the saint you turn to when there is no one else left to turn to. Tradition tells it this way: the other saints already had people praying to them, bringing them flowers, asking them for favors. He did not. He was free, available, waiting in the silence. So people started looking for him right at the bottom, when they had already tried everything else, when the case had been given up for lost. He became the last resort, and for that very reason, the saint of last resorts, the saint of difficult causes, of the things nobody believed were possible anymore. His obscurity turned into his work. The apostle no one wanted to name ended up being the name a great many people had left, when they had no other name at all. In Mexico, that story found fertile ground. Over the years, the devotion grew until it became one of the largest in the country. In the heart of the capital, an old church, San Hipólito, at the crossing of Reforma and Avenida Hidalgo, has kept his image on the main altar since 1982, and on the 28th of every month, above all on the 28th of October, thousands of people walk toward him. But the real question is why? Why him, out of all of them? Why this apostle, and not another? And the answer, perhaps, is in the whole story you have just heard. A saint for anyone who feels they have run out of options resonates very deeply in a place, and among a people who know exactly what that feels like. Think of someone who left home with a backpack and a name. Someone who crossed toward a place that did not exist for them yet, betting on something no one could guarantee. Someone who started from nothing, far away, in a borrowed language. That person knows exactly what it is to hold on to a cause everyone else has already given up as impossible. That is why Jude traveled with them. In a kitchen in Chicago, in a workshop in Los Angeles, in a small living room in Houston, there is almost always a worn card with his image on it. He did not cross the border as a miracle. He crossed it as company, as a reminder that the forgotten one also made it far. In the end, we do not remember him for the wonders we attribute to him. We remember him for something simpler and much harder to forget. He was the forgotten one who became a refuge for the forgotten. And maybe his whole story fits into a single line. No one wanted to say his name until it was the only name a great many people had left.